connections through storytelling. That's amazing. All right, so let's just bring him out then. His name is James Carey. Come on out, James.
We'll talk. While I get set up here, I'd like to just thank, never been here before, and I think it's run really well. So I'd like to thank Isabel and her crew and our MC. They do a wonderful job, don't they? And I'm really bad at standing at a mic, so I may move. I promise the videographer out there, no quick moves, okay? So, okay, good. So, 2011 wasn't a very good year for me. In a matter of months, I ended a 3-year relationship. I almost lost my house, and my business that I'd run for almost 25 years was on the edge of collapse. Things could have looked worse, but at the moment I didn't see how. I doubted myself and my own accomplishments. I had a realization that my life, both personally and professionally, might be over, and that this was all that was ever going to be. I needed a drastic life change, but I couldn't seem to quite do it for myself. And then out of the blue, I got this invitation from Zimbabwe to come and judge a drama festival. What? There it was in front of me, this strange letter from this group in Africa that wanted me to come judge a drama festival. And they were going to pay. Well, yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, Zimbabwe is a former British colony that used to go by the name of Rhodesia. And it's in the southeastern corner of Africa, just above the country of South Africa. And the people that I was going to go work with were known as the National Institute of Allied Arts, or NIAA. And they're a 100-year-old volunteer organization that was set up by the Brits with a single purpose of trying to give children a quality arts education, whether they were black or white. Now, going from a first world democracy to a third world dictatorship, it takes a little massage. But eventually my day of departure arrived, and so I came to the airport. I took my 2 anxiety pills because I truly hate to fly. I had 2 vodka tonics and I boarded the plane. 39 hours later, I got off the plane in Harare, Zimbabwe, capital city. And I was met there by my boss, Gavin Peter, a very large man with this immense grin and this very fast Zimbabwe accent, so fast I could barely understand him. And I had a lot of adventures in Africa. That's where I got my African name, Tom Cruise. I rode an elephant. I had breakfast with a cheetah. But the main reason that I was there was for the festival and for the kids. So after I got over my jet lag, I was ready to work. But my first job was not for them, was not going to be in Harare, the capital city. It was going to be in a little town called Gweru, about 3 hours, 4 hours outside of Harare. And the morning that we drove up to the school in Gweru, I was very nervous. Besides the fact that I'd flown halfway around the world to be here and people had told me everything about the festival, I still didn't have a clue as to what I was supposed to be doing. So I entered the school with some trepidation. And Gweru was supposed to be a microcosm of what I would find in Harare. In a day and a half in Gweru, I would see all 16 categories of things that I was supposed to judge, something that would take me 2 weeks to do in Harare. And 2 things happened very quickly as I walked into the school in Gweru. First of all, I got to meet the kids. As I first walked in, I noticed a group of about 10 or 15 kids over here. They were going to be the first ones that were going to get up on stage and do their competition for me, their material for me, and they looked very nervous. So I walked over and I said, "Hi, I'm James. I'm from the United States. I'm the adjudicator. What's your name?" And as the kids started to tell me their names, I noticed every parent and every teacher in the room stopped and looked at me, as if I was some kind of alien who did just come from outer space. And as the kids finished telling me their names, I went back to Gavin and I said, "Why was everybody staring at me?" He goes, "Well, you really weren't supposed to do that." And I went, "What?" He goes, "Talk to the kids." "Well, why not?" "Well, it's never been done." In 100 years? That's when I realized I wasn't in Kansas anymore. The next thing that happened was I saw the most incredible group of teenage actors I have ever seen. They were all orphans from a group home just outside of Gweru. All their parents had been killed or died from the AIDS epidemic, which has decimated every country in Africa. And this school had never been to the festival before, so we weren't expecting much from them. They blew us away. Using a combination of physical theater and dance and chanting, they told me the story of a tribal legend. They were amazing. They got a 2-minute standing ovation. And the rest of the festival was much like that. Working 12 and 13-hour days, I saw between 7,000 and 8,000 kids. And the other adjudicator saw just as many. And at the end of those 2 weeks, we were bone tired, but it was worth it. And also at the end of the festival, there was this kind of celebration dinner, best of the best. And as an adjudicator, I got to invite whoever I wanted to that celebration. And I invited those kids from Gweru. And I watched them perform for the Harare elite. And I saw the pride and wonder in their eyes as they got another standing ovation. Gavin always said that this festival could change people's lives. These kids, their life trajectory was going nowhere. They're from the bush. Their education and job opportunities are almost non-existent. Yet here they are standing on a stage in their capital city receiving a standing ovation. It was pretty cool. That night as I went home from the dinner, I was a little high from too much wine, but I was very high from the feelings that the festival had given me. And I realized that I had helped the festival, but the festival had helped me more. You see, I got into theater as a young kid because it brought me great joy, and somewhere along the way, I had lost that. Yet working with all those hundreds and hundreds of kids, I got it back again. But suddenly my trip was over and I had to go home. And I remember standing in the airport that morning, and it came to me, just like a prize fighter smashing me in the face. I had changed. Africa had changed me. I had a passion for my art and work again. I might do it differently in the future, but my work held significance again. I had found a purpose and a desire for life that I hadn't had in months. Henry Miller once said that one's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things. I had come to Harare to judge a drama festival. I'd come to Africa to escape my life in America. And what I found in Africa was myself. Myself reawakened, myself reborn, myself transformed. I was no longer a shell of myself, I was myself. So it was July 2012, and I'm flying high over Zimbabwe towards Joburg, towards Dubai, towards Rome, towards home, to myself. It was July 2012, and I was reborn. Thank you.